Okay, it's recording.
What's up, YouTube? How's it going? Episode 44, new book.
Here we go. Oh, that was loud.
Yeah, you might want to be careful with that. You want to tell them what we're reading?
We're starting with why. You got it, Tatiana?
It's Adina started last week, but she.
This is my artificial boomerang.
That's good.
There you
You're
go.
doing a good job.
Thanks.
Adina is a head start on us.
I thought we were ready. I thought we were starting last week because I forgot what we said, so I was ready to go. But because of that, I didn't reread it. But I'll tell you what, it was super short. Like this section is super short.
I thought we could do two podcasts today, but you were running a little late, so it's all good.
My bad. I was running late. I was totally running late.
Okay, so I'm gonna hit record here, and I'm gonna start with a different intro. So get ready. 3, 2. Well, I mean, not a different intro. It's what I'm reading off of there.
Okay.
So
It's like,
ready? What's up, everybody? Mario here for the Made for More Consulting Podcast, episode 44. And tonight, I just want to ask again. I want to start with this: have you ever tried to get a team or individual to follow you to go somewhere or to do something, and they just didn't get it? You know, they just didn't get it. They didn't understand. I think there are a lot of us. There's a lot of great leaders. At some point, they're out there. They have an amazing culture, and they have to change these ideas, but they don't know how to inspire the team to follow them. It's a great idea. Doesn't happen. And think about this. There's two leaders that can have the same idea. One can succeed with much less resources, much less income, much less talent, and the other doesn't succeed, and they have way more talent, money, more education. So why is that? And I believe it's because he or she knows how to inspire, and how to inspire others begins with why. So there's studies that even show in the United States that 80% of Americans do not have their dream job. And it starts with inspiration, and inspiration starts with why. Inspired people have happier lives, and people will follow people who inspire them. And if you're willing to sacrifice, and they're willing to sacrifice their own well-being if they're inspired, and they get inspired by why. And that is Adina yawning.
Well, I'm like, that was a long introduction, but good job.
That's what we're starting with tonight, is to start with the book. We're beginning the book, Start With Why, by Simon Sinek.
And when you started the introduction, I actually was thinking, wow, I like this. Like, I like that you just jumped into it, because you know me, I'm very purposeful with my time. And all the chit chat at the beginning, I'm like, let's go.
35 minutes.
I love that you said 30. I think I was 41 minutes late.
Yeah, exactly. It was 6:05, and I said, "Hey, maybe she thinks it's at 6:30." And then you're like,
you were so kind to believe the best in me when I was at home living my best life.
Yeah, I wasn't. I just said, "Hey, I'm not doing anything." She's still at home. So, anyways, welcome back. It's Tiana. Hello.
Hey.
We're recording on a different night than we usually record. No one's here. So we're going to get into this book, episode 44. I think if you sell a product, if you lead a team, if you're trying to venture out and try something new, this book is a must read. Adina, you're reading it for the first time with us. This is one of the first ones you haven't read, right?
Yes, and I was really excited about it because I have not read this book before. And like you said, all the other books that we've done, I have actually read. So in prepping for the podcast, it's been a second time. So I've heard this book, I've seen this book, and so it was, I was glad. Yeah, it was really cool. So,
I was going to say, so remember how I write in the back of every book?
Yeah,
I have been writing in the back of the Jocko books.
Yeah.
And this is one that has what I wrote. Maybe we should
take a picture.
Yeah, it just says, hell of a read, second book by Sinek that pushed me to think outside the box, but also to remember what brought me to the game. The why never changes, but how and what does. The why is what needs to be passed on to leave a legacy. People will forget what and how you did things, but they won't forget why. Think of Martin Luther, for example. This book comes at the right time. Listen to this. As I think of through launching Made for More.
So happy. Did you put a date in that?
Yeah, 3/20/2018.
2018.
Wow.
That's stupid.
Wow. That's crazy.
What the freak? Was that 3 years ago?
Stupid.
Yeah, 3 years ago? Okay. Wow. That's the first time I've read that. And I just saw that it was written, and so I thought I'd share it. So Adina, a few things before we take off. You want to remind them if this is their first time?
Yeah, if this is your first time, always go back and listen to the very first one. It kind of explains how Made for More took off. And then you should also go listen to the one that is called Adina Calls the Shots. I don't know what episode that is, 37 or something. I don't know.
Somewhere.
I just made that up.
Yeah.
Because it is me like interviewing Mario and like digging down a little bit. It's a really good episode as well. And also we don't read the entire book.
Yeah.
We just kind of highlight it. What we want is we want to kind of introduce you to this concept and to maybe like some different authors, and then for you to go and read the book and figure out kind of how it applies to your life and your situation.
Yeah, and it's episode 27.
27. I said 37. 27.
Adina Calls the Shots.
We're gonna put that in episode 27. I will put that in my brain.
Yeah.
So tonight we're gonna cover section 1.
2 chapters. And the section 1 is called A World That Doesn't Start With Why. So chapter 1, he said, assume you know. That's the title of chapter 1. And I have a couple of quotes. And the first quote says, our behavior is affected by our assumptions or our perceived truths. We make decisions based on what we think we know. The problem is we've all been in situations in which we all have data and get lots of good advice, but things still don't go quite right, or maybe the impact lasted for only a short time, or something happened that we could not foresee. You have to be careful what you think you know. Assumptions you see, even based on sound research, can lead us astray. So he's talking about the fact that you can assume something, and when you assume something, you perceive its truth. Even when you go out and you start doing maybe research and you go, hey, I assume this is right because look at what I know, you still might be wrong.
Do you think that you like typically follow like your gut in something, or are you like more of a rational thinker?
I think it's situational, but most of the time I think I follow my gut. Because when I don't follow my gut, I get pissed off because I said, I should have done what I knew. I should have done what I knew I was supposed to do as far as like a situation. But like when it comes to technical things like, hey, how do you set this up, or how do you do that? Or is this the best podcast equipment? I'll go look that stuff up. So I think it's situational. But what about you?
I am a gut person. I follow my gut every single time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
So do you think we assume when we follow our gut?
No, I don't know. I don't know if they're even like really connected. I know in here it says assumption versus your gut, but I think I know I follow how I feel. I follow my instinct, for sure.
Yeah. So when you say follow how you feel, I want people to understand that's not your emotions. Right?
Not my emotions. Yeah, not my emotions, but I follow like what I think.
Yeah.
Just I don't read a lot into things. It's however I feel about it. If I feel it's right or it's wrong or it's a go or not a go, I just jump in. I think now I say this and you can totally call me on it, but I don't feel like I do a lot of assuming. I think I kind of live in like a black and white world. I don't make a lot of assumptions, or I don't base my decisions on assumptions.
Yeah, I don't think you do either. I honestly don't. I think that you do follow your gut. I don't see anything different. I don't think you.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know.
It's that whole saying, remember,
You make an ass out of you instead of me. I'll say it. I'm not scared.
Ass out of you and me.
You
right?
and me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not.
I thought it was you instead of me. I'm pretty sure that's what it says in the Bad News Bears.
Either way.
Like from like the 1980s
The Bad
movie.
News Bears? I thought that was 1978.
Whatever. I don't know. Good gracious.
You
Do
wanna
we
look
have
up
to be
that
so
date,
detail
Tatiana?
oriented?
Those Bad News Bears.
The Bad News Bears release. Anyways,
Okay.
assumption versus your gut.
Yeah.
Just remember, guys, that when we talk about
76.
assuming that your gut, it's not following your feelings, like your emotions. Like, hey, I'm so emotional about this. No, it's 1976. Thank you.
Okay.
So anyways, it's about following your gut, as in, hey, I've seen this before. I know this is the right way we should be going. So, yeah. And in the book, he talks about the Japan and American car makers. They go in and they start to see the process of making a car, and they both make a car. And the Americans are looking at the way the Japanese make it, and towards the end of the process, they see that the Japanese have this. The doors go on and the doors fit, and the Americans go, "Hey, why didn't you guys hit that with the rubber mallet?" And they said, "What do you mean?" And they said, "Well, we hit it 4 or 5 times to make it fit." And the Japanese just said, because we know it's going to fit.
Right.
And so the problem is the Japanese are engineered the outcome at the beginning of the process to go, there's not going to be a problem with it. The Americans knew that there was a problem, that it wasn't going to fit, so they used the rubber mallet to hit the freaking door. And they knew there was a problem with the whole system. So again, Japanese going, hey, there isn't a problem. We took care of that at the very beginning. So I think that if you assume that there's a problem, or even follow your gut that there's a problem, there is probably a problem. Where there's smoke, there's probably fire.
Well, I would say though that don't like waste your energy or don't use your energy on something that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah,
You know,
and the
so
Americans were beating the crap out of the doors before they went on when they didn't trust
they
the system.
probably don't even know that they don't fit. They probably are just hitting them with the mallet just because they've always hit them with a mallet.
Yeah, so when you're leading a team, are you doing it just because you've always done that, or you understand what you're doing? So he says every instruction we give, every course of action we set, every result we desire starts with the same thing, a decision. There are those who decide to manipulate the door to fit manipulate the door to fit to achieve their desired result, and there are those who start from somewhere very different. Though both courses of action may yield similar short-term results, it is what we can't see that makes a long-term success more predictable for only one. The one who understood why the doors need to fit by design and not by default.
That's what I think is interesting, is that when they went over and they said, hey, like, why aren't you hitting them? Because they automatically assumed that their way was the only way.
Exactly.
Like, the only way you can do this is you put the doors on, you hit it with the mallet.
Yeah. Two different, they want the end goal to be the same. Two teams, the end goal to be the same, the goal. But one gets there by trusting their system and knowing why. The other just says, hey, we got to hit the door.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. So I think the key takeaway is, we must know why we're heading in the right direction, where we're going. We need to inspire those around us lead by saying, hey, why are we doing this? Our people must know why first. Default mode must be why, and not a reminder like, hey, let me remind you, this is why you're doing your job. No, you should have started with why. Don't make your people assume the why. Because if they show up to work and they don't know why they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, I think we're in trouble. They're not going to know the target. They're not going to know the goal. You're going to be locked in. So don't allow the why to be just a reminder. You need to lead with the why. You got anything else on that?
No, I mean, I think that was one of those chapters that when I read the chapter, I didn't have a whole lot. Like, I was kind of like, okay, like he's just kind of setting up the book. Here we go. I honestly was surprised that this first section was so short.
Yeah, it is kind of weird. I think towards the end of the second chapter, he really gets into what we're trying to discuss.
Yeah, so maybe we should have said early on this episode might be a shorter episode than normal, because it really is it's a really short section.
Yeah, so chapter 2.
Carrots and sticks.
And this is where he gets into something that we've talked about
multiple times.
And we use the words manipulation. Leadership is manipulation or influence. And Simon Sinek starts this whole chapter with manipulation versus inspiration. So two different, and he said there are only two ways to influence people. There's only two ways. It's either manipulation or it's inspiration. And I'm thinking, have any of you guys ever, he talks about manipulation. That back in the day as a kid, we knew how to manipulate people. I'm only going to be your friend I'll be your best friend if you give me this. I'll be your best friend if you give me that.
Right, or they say, I'm not going to be your friend, or I'm not going to invite you to my birthday party if you're not my friend. Yeah. It for sure.
Did you ever do that?
No, I did not do that.
Whatever.
I didn't.
I think girls do that more than guys.
No, I did not realize that a birthday party was a bargaining tool. Like, I didn't feel like that was power.
I used it when
I might have said, I will ruin you.
Oh my gosh.
No.
No, I used it when I was going to get in trouble. Like, hey, please don't tell. I'll be your best friend if you don't.
I'll be your best friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought we were friends.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's manipulation.
Yeah.
He talks about this in the industry, that dropping prices, fear. So he talks about a few different ways. So manipulation is dropping prices, fear, peer pressure, aspiration, message.
Okay, so I loved that he kind of put into perspective for me that all of those things were manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that sometimes we think of manipulation as not, I don't know, like more manipulative than just like putting something on sale.
Yeah.
And he did say that Walmart was like the only place that had
he's
ever
done this.
kind of done it successfully,
Yeah.
like as a brand.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure. I was
Because if
thinking,
you keep dropping prices as a business and you're not Walmart, at some point they're going to go, hey, let's just wait till they
yeah,
drop prices.
and you know
we're
what?
gonna make
That's
money.
so true. And it's so true. Even when you look at it, and I think like, I hate when there's a store that always puts stuff on sale. And I hate shopping there, and I refuse to pay full price because I feel like that it just feels shady. I feel like if you could put everything on sale all the time, then why are your prices so high? You know?
What are you talking about?
Well, I don't want to name names of the store, but it's a craft
Dollar Tree?
store
Oh,
that
that's
sells,
I know who you're talking
that
about.
sells a lot of things.
We
And
have a
they
different one.
always say, like, don't ever buy anything full price there because they put stuff 50% off all the time.
That's crazy.
And there's even a schedule. So, like, every other week, half of the store is on sale.
Yeah.
So it really does feel like manipulation. I feel like they're a store that has taken it one step too far.
Yeah. And again, he just makes you think about a different way of manipulation, which is they have you if you're.
Yeah.
Doing, I mean, think about Black Friday, and then we'll get into that. So he talks about those things, but he starts the chapter with a statement. You want to read it? If companies.
Yes, if companies don't know why their customers are their kind of customers, odds are good that they don't know why their employees are their employees either.
I think that's a really good point. If you don't know who your customers are, then do you know who your employees are? Because if you don't know why people are coming to shop at your
Well, that's
store,
what I was going to say. I would even take it a step further. Not who my customers are, but why are they coming in here?
Yeah.
What are they looking for?
Yeah.
You know, and so right after I read this chapter, I started paying attention. I started noticing all of the ads for cars on the radio.
Oh yeah.
And every single car dealership that was on, it's all about a sale. It's
Yeah.
all about $500 off or
Cash
this
back.
much cash. Yes,
He
it
talks
was
about that here.
special pricing for veterans, special pricing for, and there was this one, and it was like, I think it might have been for Acura, but it was like first time incentives for first time Acura buyers. And then it said, and incentives for previous Acura owners. And I was thinking, so pretty much anyone, whether you've owned an Acura before or you've never owned an
And they're
Acura.
telling you that, and you're listening to it, going, "Hey, I gotta go do that," but
Well,
it's manipulated.
Yes, before I read this, I think I would have been like, oh, I can get a
Yeah.
sale. I've had an
Yeah, you check
Acura,
that. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and now I'm thinking, that's manipulation.
Yeah, he definitely goes into the. So again, we're thinking manipulation. If you lead a team, if you lead a store, are you manipulating or are you inspiring people to come by?
Yeah, so he talks about manipulations like, so the first one was price.
Yep, he said
You know,
companies drop their prices,
yes.
drop them low enough, and they and drop the product price low enough, and they're going to get bought. However, dropping the cost causes a dilemma. They may never pay that price again. They expect that all the time, and he calls it price addiction.
Well, which is
which
true because I've gone into that store, that craft store that I talked about earlier, and I will find something that I want to buy and I won't buy it because it's not on sale.
Yeah.
And I know
That's going to be
that
on sale
next
later.
week it's going to be on sale.
Yep.
And so I totally get that.
Yeah.
100% I get that. And like in light of this book, it almost annoys me.
Yeah, they're manipulating.
Yes, that they're
They're not
not just
inspiring
more
you to come.
authentic.
Yeah.
I would rather you honestly just have regular normal prices
Mhm.
and not put things on sale all the time
Yeah.
and just let me shop whenever I want to.
So what's one thing that you paid for that is expensive that you go, I don't ever get it on sale, and people would probably think you're crazy.
My purses.
Purses?
Yeah, I have really expensive purses and they don't ever put them on sale. They are never on sale. And people probably think I'm absolutely insane for paying that much for a purse. But for sure, I mean, that would be one that on the opposite end of a
Yeah.
company that never runs sales.
But they inspire you to go buy the purses.
Right. But I mean, but the thing is you don't wait for a sale because I've never in my life heard of them being on sale. They don't go on sale. They don't go on clearance. Like they don't do that.
Yeah.
So you don't wait. You just
Yeah.
pay full price for it
So-
and happily, you know?
Mine are jeans or anything by Origin Maine. So
Yeah.
because they
See?
inspire American made, all made here in America. So
Yeah, well, I'm sure mine are not. Mine are probably, I think mine are made in Italy. My purses, I don't even know where they're made.
he said, I cannot debate that dropping the price is not a perfectly legitimate way of driving business. The challenge is staying profitable.
I still, like, I'm telling you, I'm almost irritated.
Yeah.
that they,
Yep.
that I'm like, we'll never buy something on sale again. And I'll tell you what, I'm like, I'm not buying another Acura just because of that stupid
Do you go to
commercial.
Black Friday?
You know, I
hate
don't.
Black Friday.
If I go shopping on Black Friday, it's to go with my people, my family, my friends. It's not for what I can
It's
get
the
out of it.
experience.
Yeah,
It's
because
ridiculous.
we don't buy a lot of stuff that that needs to be purchased like on sale. Like I don't know, I
Same
can't.
thing with tax-free weekend. You got to buy a buttload
Oh,
of things
good
too.
night. I
Yeah.
do not shop on tax-free weekend.
I've had to work it, and it's so stupid because you don't
No.
get. I mean, it's only $8.
How about we
off.
just shop online?
There you go.
Yeah.
So the manipulations. One is price. Number two is promotions. This is what you're talking about. The whole cashback, the buy one get one.
Mhm.
These are so weird when it comes to shoes for
Yes.
me because they're like, hey, buy one get one free or buy one get one
If
half
that's
off.
still you're buying one, you get one half off. That's like nothing.
Exactly. But and what's funny is there's always a like an asterisk saying you can't buy something under this price. So
Right.
like, okay, so I have to buy 2 regular price shoes.
And it gets you, like, you will buy another pair of shoes that you don't even want.
It talks about rebates
Because
too.
they're
that
gonna be half
you're
price.
being manipulated. And here's what I'm saying is honestly, when they say, hey, rebates and
I'm
cashback,
done.
I say yes, but
No.
I never mail them in.
When they're
So
counting
just
on
sitting
that,
there.
that's what
You
he
said
said
that,
in
yeah.
this. They're counting on that. 30% of people redeem the rebates,
So
and that's it.
70% of us
Done.
never send a freaking rebate back.
Done.
Yeah.
I think you should say F the rebate.
Yeah, so
Like,
it's-
I
Make
am
sure it
not.
says that.
Yes.
Manipulation.
It's manipulation.
Yeah.
And I also feel like if people would stop doing a buy one, get one,
Yeah.
then maybe these companies would stop doing this and they would just lower the prices of their products.
So you have manipulations being the price, the promotions.
We are,
and the
I
next
like,
one-
we are all being led astray.
The next one's big.
It really
fear.
is frustrating.
It's fear.
Yes.
Real or perceived fear is the most powerful manipulation of them all, is what he said.
Mhm.
I think it's used in raising our kids. So
For
we,
sure.
I mean, we use it to go.
Well, okay.
Some of
Maybe
us.
I use it. Yeah, we do
Wait,
use
do
it in
you?
our kids.
Okay,
Like,
and I
something
was-
horrible is going to happen to you if you do this.
Yeah. I remember saying
Yes.
that to my brother. Says you go over there as a monster or whatever. and
Yes.
he was
Okay.
like,
So I love that he brought up, and you put this in the notes. This is your brain. This is your brain on drugs.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Yeah, I remember that.
For
from the
sure. I
80s.
do too. Like, they were for real. Like, you were like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that we use it in our country for public safety announcements, the news, like they
Mhm.
tell their viewers. And I said, and then ads every 30 seconds as someone dies of, and you go, is that true? And you got to go search it. And
Yes. Like,
okay, they're using
yes.
fear to
sure.
manipulate your brain so that you can buckle up.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I freaking hate, so if you're listening, don't ever do this. I remember being fearful whenever someone was like, hey, if you don't forward this to 17
Oh my
Oh my
gosh.
God.
my
That.
dog's going to die of
Bro.
a hernia in
Okay,
24
so what's
hours.
so funny is I feel like when those first started, like, I don't know, 20 years ago, I don't even know how long ago it was, people would really do it. Like, they were really concerned
Yeah, if
that
you don't
might
forward this to
happen.
2 people, the devil's going to be at your door knocking. Okay, really? And then my daughter knocked on the door. Anyways, so people are manipulated by price, promotions, fear, and again, none of us are inspired. We're buying things because we're fearful. We turn on the news because we're fearful. So then he says number 4, manipulation number 4 is aspirations. These move you towards something that you want to achieve. Hey, there's 6 steps to becoming a better father or mother. 6 easy ways to become rich.
Yeah.
Hey, there's 6 easy ways to get in shape over the next 4 months. And he says that, listen to this. He says, I believe we've all been here. Listen to this. He says, though positive in nature, aspirational messages are most effective with those who lack discipline or have a nagging fear of or insecurity that they don't have the ability to achieve their own dreams on their own. And I think we've all been there. And I think for me, it's especially when you have all the people that are at the gym at the beginning of the year and they're going, hey, I read this, the Hollywood diet, the Hollywood liquid diet, or whatever it
I'm
is.
not gonna lie, I have fallen into that. Like, I mean,
Well, that's what I'm
like,
saying,
where
we
you
all
like
have.
look into it and
Yes.
you're like, I could do this. Like, they make
But-
it just like
But
it makes it sound
here's
so
what's
easy.
crazy is that is the shortcut. That's
I know.
manipulation.
I
You're
know.
manipulating yourself
Totally.
to believe that.
100%.
Yes.
I mean, like, it's like when you're in the moment, you can't see that. You don't see the fear. You don't see that, like even the aspiration manipulation. You don't see any of that.
Yep.
But on this side of it, I can see that. And now it is interesting when I'm like scrolling through like Facebook and I see an ad, I can see what they're trying to do. Like, I'm like, you're trying to play on this, and this.
Yeah.
And it's not going to work. Like, you're trying to play on, like, you can have this fabulous life and you can be wealthy and thin and all. And I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
He says
this
these
is not going to
messages
work with me.
Can spur behavior, but they won't last. Like you said, you get
For
started,
sure.
but they're not going to last.
For sure.
So have you ever tried something like that?
Oh, I'm sure I have. I mean, 100%.
Yeah.
You know,
Same.
I mean, yeah. And like I said, it's so interesting now, like, even like us like talking a lot about this kind of stuff from like manipulation, from like even like the Jocko like content that like I can just every single time I can just see it a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And it makes me sad for the people who are still on the other side and they can't see it.
Yep.
And like right now there are a couple of like, I don't know what you call them, like
fads.
Yeah, like those businesses that those moms are. They're all drinking a special drink and they're eating a special shake and like they keep posting about it and they're posting their pictures and their recipes and they have like, this is my sugar picture and my candy picture, and I see what they're doing and I see how easy it would be to say like, I want that, but it's manipulation.
Yeah. And
100%.
I think if you stay in it and you go, I have to be disciplined, because some people are gonna, let's say they do change their lifestyle, they do the drinks and they do the diet and they do the meal prep. If you stay in it, you're like, hey, I've learned a new way of living. I've learned my identity, and I'm no longer under the control of food. But if you do it for a shortcut, then you're never going to be disciplined to do it. And that's where the discipline equals freedom.
Well, and I did have lunch with somebody probably a couple months ago now, and she is one of those drink a special drink, have a special shake, and you know, you can look like me. But she did say that. She said, when I started, I did it because I was desperate. And she's like, now it is a lifestyle and I will never go back, you know, to what I was. But it was all about the discipline. And that's what she talked about, is I had to go back from the discipline and I had to realize this is what I have to do to be the person that I want to be. And it wasn't just eating right, it was a whole other thing, like combination of things.
And I think what sucks is if our teenagers are struggling with their identity and they see commercials about certain things, or Instagram or Facebook, they run towards that.
Okay, so you brought up teenagers, and the next one is peer pressure.
So manipulation number 5.
Gracious.
4 out of 5 doctors say that.
I never realized that was peer pressure.
With over 1 million satisfied customers.
Yes, total peer pressure.
Or a
peer
double-blind
peer
study
pressure
shows.
Or the endorsements. Peer
Tiger Woods,
pressure.
Michael Jordan. Like he goes, how many times has Tiger Woods hit a golf club with that watch on?
Okay.
He hasn't.
Time out. I saw Tiger and I immediately thought Tiger King. I thought you were going to talk about Tiger King. I was like, what is he going to say here?
No. And
Tiger King. What was her name?
Her name was Carol Baskin.
Carol Baskin.
Killer husband.
Wow.
So he says, this is a really good statement about this. Peer pressure works not because the majority or the experts are always right, but because we fear
that we may be wrong.
There you go. We don't trust ourselves.
I think you should say that again. We don't trust ourselves.
Yep. That's going to be a quote this next week.
I for sure, because, and I had never thought of it when they say that, like that 4 out of 5 doctors, or even it's 4 out of 5 pet owners, whatever it is. And you're like, oh, I want to be like that. We don't trust ourselves.
Yeah. I think we turn on the TV, you see an athlete, but did you know that you probably could have the more discipline than that athlete, but you just never tapped into it because you don't have enough confidence in yourself.
For sure. Or you can have the same amount of discipline as that athlete, no problem. You may not have the same results because your bodies are made up differently. For sure.
You're going to go buy Gatorade because Michael Jordan's drinking Gatorade. And that song, I want to be like Mike, back in the day. I put, did your mom ever say, if they jumped off a cliff, would you?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I hate that.
Yes, I would.
But mom, they were doing it.
You know what?
Like, what?
I would. This is what I would say. I'm going to jump off the cliff first.
Oh, okay, so you're the leader.
I'm the leader of the bad stuff.
So, the 6 areas of manipulation are price, promotion, fear, aspiration, peer pressure, and then the last
novelty,
aka innovation.
Innovation, yeah.
Motorola. Oh
Yes.
my gosh, it's not. They didn't innovate. They just added to, I guess, who they were. So Motorola, the Razor. Did you have a
Yes.
Razor?
I did not have a
I did not
razor.
have a Razor. Did you have a Razor?
But Taylor
Was it
had a
pink?
razor.
Mine
Taylor had a pink one, and I think she had a red one.
All the colors, right?
Yeah, they had all the colors.
And he
Red,
says
blue.
it was a great product, but it was not innovation because innovation is still around, and the Razor is not around. I know they're trying to make a comeback, but seriously, innovation is something that changes the world and stays with it. And he talks about the light bulb, iTunes.
I was
and
gonna
microwave.
say, even like the iPhone. I know. I mean, we don't have to go into that, but like that wasn't innovation. That was something completely different. Yeah, iTunes,
the
like for
screen
sure.
touching phone. And you're
Yes.
going, man, yeah,
The mini computer, right here.
yeah. Innovation alters our lives. And he said, check this out. In 1970, there were 2 types of Colgate toothpaste.
Yes.
In 2015, there's 32 types of Colgate toothpaste.
And you know
One
what?
company.
But you know what he said? He was like, but it doesn't even matter. Like what?
And so-
what in
so
the world?
That's what he's saying. Is innovation would say that no one has cavities in the United States because we have all this. He said, does data show that because of all these toothpaste that we're brushing our teeth?
We're not.
We're not. It doesn't matter. So that's not innovation. Innovation
It's-
changes the
To
game.
me, that's people pleasing.
Yeah.
It's like they're just trying to
but
find
here
a
it is. It's
way.
manipulation.
It's
They're
manipulation.
manipulating you on these commercials.
Yes.
And if you've ever gone to go buy women products for your wife, and she says, "Here, buy me these," and there's 17,000
Okay,
freaking
but-
products.
The thing is, I haven't thought about toothpaste, so I use
Sheesh.
Sensodyne. I use a specialty toothpaste
But
because I
does-
have sensitive teeth. But there's like 6 different kinds, and I'm always like, babe, I need the full protection. It has to be
Yeah.
full protection.
Yeah.
Like
And
this is it.
Yeah.
It's hard to find. You have to read all of them. But you know, after reading this is what I wondered. I wondered
Read the ingredients.
I wonder if it's all the same.
He said that. He said
And
they're
they're
all the same.
changing the label,
Mhm.
and I feel like I have to have full protection.
Yeah, but you're manipulated.
I know. It
So-
almost makes me feel like, yeah, like no. I mean, like
You've
I'm
been
like
lied to.
I've been like yeah, I'm kind of like, and I've bought into it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a conspiracy theorist.
No. This is where he gets into some great statements
Podcast.
regarding leadership and
Yeah.
manipulation. Not one of those manipulations makes people become loyal.
Well-
So think about that. When you're manipulated by price, peer
Right.
pressure, you buy the product, but you're not loyal to that company.
Yes. So like my craft store that I talked about earlier, I have no loyalty to them whatsoever. Almost the opposite.
But you're loyal to your handbag and purse.
I
right?
am loyal to
Same
them.
here. Like Advocare and
Yeah.
Jocko Fuel. I'll buy that all the time, and they're like, "How can you
Yeah.
pay such a high price?" Well, I'm not going to drink Monster. I'm not going to drink
Right.
Red Bull. I probably shouldn't be saying their names.
Right.
Because of
Well,
what's in
yeah.
them.
Well, you said Advocare, and you know I'm a huge proponent of that because I believe in their product.
Same.
I believe in what they
Same.
put in it, and I believe in it.
Yeah. And I love that he says, think about this: the 6 areas, which are price, promotion, fear, aspiration, peer pressure, novelty. He said none of those produce loyalty, but listen, they increase your stress and anxiety. Because if you're sitting there going, "I'm watching all the Black Friday specials, I feel like I'm going to miss out if I don't show up," and
Right.
it's that whole FOMO fear of missing out.
Well, and the other thing is that like I've talked about the craft store, whatever. But I get frustrated because then I won't purchase what I want to purchase,
Mhm.
and then I come back. And what's so interesting is I was like, maybe it's time for me to get a new car. And
I just got a new car.
like 2 years ago,
That black one?
yeah, I've
No
had like 2
way.
years.
Oh
Yeah,
my
I
gosh.
have. Yeah.
Okay.
It's time. And the thing is I was tempted to
Yeah.
like look and be like, well, I can get a deal because I can get a, and then I was like, no.
No.
And so I started looking at a different car, and it's the same. They don't offer any of those. There's no specials. And it's
Yeah.
almost like you can tell like a higher end brand versus like a car that they're always running specials on. It's a whole different customer clientele.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
and the thing is at this point in my life, I don't want to play games.
Yeah, you're
Like
you're
I'm
being
not gonna
manipulated.
wait around
Yeah.
for something to go on sale.
Yeah.
You know, and I've heard they'll be like, when's the best time to buy a car? When's the best time to buy this, a TV or whatever? Well, that's crap.
Yeah,
if you
all
can
of
sell
that,
it
you're
to me
being
at one
manipulated.
price,
Yes.
you should.
Yep.
Which I think goes back to, it reminded me of your, like the Jocko Fuel, the Advocare. And you know what I love about Advocare, and I'm sure other companies, is they never put things on sale. But what they do is when you purchase something, they'll be like, here, try
take
this,
this. Yep.
do this. Like, let us just do this for you.
Yep.
Not manipulation, but
But
just
here's the other thing
because.
though, with those two companies, and you can go to Jocko Fuel and Advocare and probably other brands.
I'm sure, yeah.
But they promote their stuff with why, like the health,
Yes.
clean fuel for your body, all that to go.
For sure.
That's what we care about. So you got to. I mean, you're going to be on this product
Right.
because you're trying to clean your life up.
Right.
So,
And that's the thing about like Advocare, and it's not even about Advocare, but about whatever that product is it never is about the price.
yeah.
It's never about getting something for free, or
Mhm.
it's always about the quality of the product and why they do what they do,
Yep.
why they produce that
So
product.
it's about building loyalty. So manipulation does not build loyalty. He said leadership requires people to stick with you through thick and thin. Leadership is the ability to rally people, not for a single event, but for years. In business, leadership means that customers will continue to support your company even when you slip up. So loyalty, again, is about them sticking with you through thick and thin. Loyalty customers will not research your competitor prices. They stick with you.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we get customers to stick with us?
So I was thinking about this as a leader, not as a business.
Yeah.
That if you were trying to grow a group of people or lead a group of people, that the same things apply.
Mhm.
Like you can't use peer pressure, you can't use novelty, you can't use aspiration. Like you cannot use any of that
Mhm.
stuff that is typically, even if it's getting to get somebody to come to work on time.
Yeah.
You can't use like, well, I'll give you this if you get to work on time.
Yeah.
No, that does not create loyalty. That doesn't create that, sense of,
Unity or-
teamwork,
yeah.
unity. That's
Yeah.
what I was looking for, was unity. And so they all apply in business, but it also really, really, really applies in a personal leadership. And I think that people use fear.
Mhm.
And I think they use
Totally.
peer pressure, and
Yeah.
I think they use I don't know how do people say, they'll say like, this is what you're gonna do, right? Like
Yeah.
this is it.
Yeah.
This is what you're gonna do. It's like they're trying to like talk you into that,
Yep.
and you're thinking, well, I don't know. I mean, I wasn't planning on it, but am I now?
Yeah.
But I think that's
Yeah, they use
that's
that.
manipulation.
It is, and I think so. If we go back to the whole example about your body and going, "Hey, I'm going to try this quick diet because I need to lose
Mhm.
10 pounds, or whatever. I'm going to drink this crap, or I'm going to do the Hollywood thing." Because there are some
Right.
things that are great, okay. But I'm
Yeah.
saying like the quick one that you hear on the radio.
For sure.
I'm going to do it. You're looking for the quick fix. If you're a freaking leader and you're looking for the quick fix
Right.
because you can't keep people on your team, then here's the problem. You're the problem.
Right.
You're trying to do things, and here's the issue. You're the leader that's not investing in your people, and your people are leaving, and you're frustrated with it. So you're trying to hire and hire and hire and bring people on your team, but until you look in the mirror and go, "I'm not investing in my people," that's why they're not sticking around. So if you're that leader right now, and you're going, "Hey, how are my people frustrated?" You got to look in the mirror, take ownership, and go, "I got to change something."
When I think as a leader, if I'm looking to these short-term strategies, I have to really question like, where am I as a leader? Like
Yeah.
what's going on?
And how
You
long
know.
is your team going to be around if you're trying to quick
Yeah,
fix
well, and I
something
feel like
that's not gonna
with
be
even
around
like
long?
with your kids, we've talked about like if you're trying to use like peer pressure or fear,
Mhm.
it means that you don't feel confident in the skills that you have.
Yeah.
Because as a parent, if I feel like I have the skills to teach my kids those things, that's one thing versus just saying like, I'm going to beat your butt if you don't stop doing that.
Yeah, so what do you think you're doing in their life?
Yeah.
Like, the legacy's going to keep on about fear. So, I think if you're that leader and you're frustrated, you got to look in the mirror. And what does life say that I still continue this to this day? I believe it with everything that I have. Is there's no bad teams. It's a
Yeah.
bad leader because you're the one leading.
Mhm.
So he says this manipulation. This is crazy. Manipulation leads to transactions, not loyalty.
Yeah.
So knowing you have a loyal customer and employee base not only reduces costs, listen to this, it provides a massive peace of mind. Like loyal friends, you know your customers and employees will be there for you when you need them the most. It is the feeling of we're in this together, which Adina was saying,
Right.
shared between the customer and the company, voter and the candidate, boss and the employee, that defines great leaders. So if you look around and you're struggling to keep people, man, you got to look in the mirror and go, I'm doing something wrong. I'm too in control of things. I'm not utilizing people, and am I trying to quick fix things? So my question is, how are you showing loyalty to your customers and people and relationships? Because as a leader, if you're not showing loyalty, you're not going to get it in return. And when manipulation is the norm, listen to this. Here's a freaking quote for everybody. Retweet this.
Yes.
When manipulation is the norm, no one wins.
And you know, the thing is
So if you're not winning,
what I love about this whole thing is that I feel like in my mind, what I learned is I had a very small definition of manipulation. And in this book, from these chapters, I've realized that manipulation is so much more, because he identified it's peer pressure, it's novelty, it's all of these things that I'm like, oh,
yeah,
all of that is manipulation.
Yep.
You know, and I know in like you reading Jocko a couple of years ago, you have used that a lot in leadership. Like, is this manipulation or is this influence?
Yeah.
You know, and we've talked about that like personally
Yeah.
for a long time.
Yep.
But to put manipulation, to expand the definition so much, was really, really
So
good for
we're-
me.
Yeah, you're saying we're pretty much manipulated more than we think, like in a culture. And so I think when you have someone's best interest in mind, that it's not yours at all, you're inspiring them and you're influencing them. But the minute it becomes yours, again, no one's going to win, because it's all about you. And for me, I can't tell you how many times, you've been around me, Etiana's been around me, my wife, like the minute that something comes up, I said, is this manipulation or influence?
Yes.
What is the end goal? And I
Yes.
continue to repeat those things, because in your mind, it sticks with you to go, oh, you know what, I'm focusing, I'm selfish right now, and it's not going to be good, and that's manipulation. So,
For sure.
man, this is the first good couple chapters.
Yeah, well, and I know that I guess like last week you sent me a text and you were like, man, this is good. And I was like, it really is.
Yeah, it's a great
it
reminder.
really is. And we kind of said it at the beginning, but we are not reading the whole book. And this is one of those books that I feel like I will keep and I will reread several times.
Yeah.
Because it really is so good.
He has I have a book by him that's signed, not this one, it's Know Your Why. It's used here in Austin. And so Start With Why is this book we're going over. Know Your Why is a different one that has like a book with it, workbook. But guys, this is the first episode on Start With Why. Next week we're gonna go into the next section. But we have some action steps. Number one, I think that would be cool, is to recognize the manipulation. Right
Sorry,
now.
I was late.
Recognize the manipulation, like commercials, ads on the radio. On
Oh,
TV,
for sure.
And
Like-
just go, man, they are trying to manipulate me.
For sure.
But then also figure out, so recognize manipulation, and then recognize the influence or inspiration this week, which means, why are you inspired to go buy that? Why are you inspired to go there or shop? Or why are you inspired to buy that product? Like, if you're inspired, then practice loyalty and let that brand know, let that company know, say, hey, I just want you to know I appreciate you. He said that, when we went in the crash of, no, not the crash, when 9/11 happened, there were customers sending Southwest Airlines $100 checks. It didn't help them because it wasn't going to pay the bills, but it was customers just saying, hey, we just want to do our part and saying thank you to your employees because you always took care of us. That's loyalty.
Yeah. And I don't want anything from you.
Exactly. I don't want a free ticket or anything like that. I'm just saying. So, and the same thing happened. Slab's about to do the grand opening, and we were there, and they were open from 11 to 30 this week. They did really good. There's some hiccups in in our systems there, but the customers that were waiting today specifically, they had some computer issues that we couldn't help. But the coolest thing were the guys that had been there all week came back from lunch today and they said, hey, we got it, man. We love this place. We're willing to wait. And at the beginning, he said, when you inspire people, they're willing to make the sacrifice because they're bought into your system. So,
For sure.
Are your employees willing to sacrifice for you? Is your family? Are your relationships? Recognize manipulation this week and recognize inspiration and influence this week, and practice loyalty this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we released something this week.
Oh yeah, let's
An
talk about
announcement.
that.
The lowdown.
So good.
Yeah, we were gonna call it so many
So
different things.
good.
I'm glad we didn't call it a few of the other things. That we
Yeah,
did.
it's so good.
Yeah.
I mean, some of those names I was like, no, like they just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
But when you finally said the lowdown, I was like,
Yep.
there you go.
And then Etiana created
And then I saw the
killer
video.
graphic. Yes.
So good, graphics so
Etiana
good.
did
Videos,
amazing.
I knew that was her.
So
She's amazing.
what is the lowdown? And basically, guys, just so you know, I mean, I think it'd be any of us recording or whatever we're good at, whatever we practice, not just good at, but practice. We're gonna take 15 minutes and specifically get into that. It's gonna be a shorter version. It's not gonna be an episode. It's gonna be a shorter version of what I guess I could consider a podcast. It's just gonna go straight to the point, like time management, the quadrants, how to just basically manage your time. And that's all it's going to be about. There's no announcements. There's no fluff. It's just going to be called the lowdown on time management, the lowdown on 30-60-90 planning, the lowdown on bridging the gap, taking ownership, detachment. So
I'm so excited about those because I feel like it's one of those things that I know sometimes when I get in the car and I'm listening to a podcast, I know that I only have from like my house to work, which is like 17 minutes.
or 45 minutes to my house.
Yeah, well, it's not. Yeah. Come on! I said I was sorry for being late. It took me a little bit to get out,
Yeah.
and I had to drive the speed limit the whole way.
She has her house shoes on.
I do have my house shoes on.
No, but yeah.
But I love that, and I even know there are some podcasts that I follow, and they even have like 3-minute episodes that I will listen to just back to back to back to back. And
That's
so I
good.
love that we're doing something a little bit different, and I love that it is a resource that if somebody needs something on, like you were saying, time management, 30, 60, 90, detachment, they can push play and they can listen to it, and it's very concise. It's exactly what they need, and they can share it with people who might need that same thing. So
Every
I'm
Thursday.
super excited about
Yeah,
it.
every Thursday we haven't figured out a time to release it yet. But the other thing is somebody asked, hey, why don't you charge for these? And I'm like, hey, we're here to inspire, motivate, encourage people. And at some point these things we'll have it for free. I mean that we want our
I'm like, well, I mean, why don't we charge? Because I feel like that'd kind of be manipulation.
it is. And
we
I'm
would be
going
like-
at some point we're gonna help you, but we're not here to manipulate. Like everyone needs some help. We're gonna hear it.
Okay, so are you, like you said, we're going to release them on Thursdays.
Yeah.
Is it every Thursday from now on, or just for like
We're
the
gonna-
month of
we're
November?
gonna try the month of November.
Okay.
And then December is gonna be loaded
Some
with
interviews.
Some
Yeah, I'm
really good
excited
interviews.
about what's coming
Some
up.
really good interviews.
Yeah, but we're also going to finish out Start With
Start with
Why.
why. So you have Start with Why for the month of November.
It's
along
already
with-
November.
Mhm.
Holy cow.
Crazy.
Start with Why for the month of November along with the lowdown. And so I have a feeling the
Wow, look at
lowdown is
us.
going to stay.
Yeah.
But I also think the lowdown is also going to produce some of the things we'll do. We're going to kick off in January 2022 for our customers.
I'm excited about
that are
that.
wanting to pay and do more. So
I'm excited about that. I think that needs to be something that we work on. Is I need to work on getting you some more clients.
yeah, I think so. We have good clients, but I think
But I feel like the clients that you've been working with, like we've done a really good job with them. But
mhm.
it's like
Yeah.
they're okay. Like
Yeah.
they can kind of stand.
they
and give them a
know-
little bit
yeah.
more, and then
We're on there. What do you call it when somebody's on? No, but you're like we have you on
retainer.
retainer.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
it's little like now like Slab, for example, launched. There's things that they can take here and go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now I'm in the background going, hey, readjust this.
Yeah,
Adams started Pro Wired Electric. He is in that phase now where we're going, hey, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And that's a little bit more of a different issue,
Mhm.
not issue, but a different challenge. But then other individuals, it's more
Yeah.
personal development in whatever they are dealing with every day. So, I mean, I think good things are going to come in 2022. Tyler Hobbs, if you listen to this, shout out to you because you said 2022 is Made for More's year.
what?
So,
What?
Tyler,
All right, here we go.
Wait, any other announcements?
No
Anything?
merch.
Yeah,
Etiana,
merch.
every single
I
week
know.
we say,
Why don't we just say it's going to
Etiana.
be new Christmas
Okay.
shirts?
or
Not like
Etiana
black, and
just
green.
gave you like
No, I'm
a
saying-
look.
you'll have
Like, we're
we'll have a
not
shirt
doing,
to
like,
be
themed
Right.
Well,
How about the beginning of the year? Let's instead of Christmas, let's commit to January. We are gonna have new shirts.
Yeah.
I feel like Christmas is
you
just
said
a hard
new or
time.
douche.
I heard both.
I heard a douche.
Douche.
No, we're not douchebags. Douche Never mind.
See, I immediately
Stop
for
it.
like John Bang
John,
Bang.
yeah, we
Bang
can
Bang
do a
Evans.
shirt with John Bang Bang Evans.
Let's do
face on it.
one like
Yes.
ironed-on like printed shirt, and then when he comes, we should
Yeah.
all have those shirts on.
And it says douchebag.
Douchebag
comment on that
Evans.
All his
Bang, bang
nicknames.
on the back.
What has Bang Bang?
Yeah,
His common
that's awesome.
denominator.
All right, wrap us up,
All right,
Mario.
so
These
remember-
people need to go.
Remember, you exist for more. You're here to offer more. Don't ever give up. Every single one of us is made for more. Talk to you guys later.
Bye, guys.
48 minutes.
Adios to YouTube.
Adios. McKenna has been
Bye,
texting me.
What is going on?
Bye, YouTube.
Oh, see y'all.